day, everyone. I am Christine June Dode from Group 5, and today I will be discussing about simple interest. But before delving into the solution and problems of simple interest, we will first define the terms used and discuss shortly on how interest was founded. Simple interest is a simple method for calculating the interest for a loan or principal amount. It is a concept commonly used for accounting money related to concepts such as loan, banking, and etc. The official discovery of interest was found in the 16th century by Jacob Bernoulli. He introduced a constant for the interest. He gave a formula limit n approaches infinity 1 plus 1 over n to the power of n equals e, where n represents the number of times the interest is compounded in a year. Simple interest is an application of percentage. There are 4 terms involved in this concept. First, we have the principal amount. This is the money borrowed or the initial amount of money deposited in a bank. The principal is denoted by a capital letter P. Next, interest. This is the extra amount you earn after depositing or the extra amount you pay when settling a loan. Simple interest is normally represented by IS. Next, we have rate. This is the rate of interest per annum. It is denoted by the small letter r. Time. This is the period at which money is borrowed or deposited. Time is normally expressed in years. It is denoted by the small letter t. Amount or total amount. The amount is the sum of the total interest and the principal over a given period. It is denoted by a capital letter A. Take note that if a number of months is given, it is denoted by the small letter m. Now, let us proceed to discussing the formulas of simple interest and the total amount before going to the practice problems. First, let us tackle the simple interest formula. Simple interest equals the principal amount times the rate of the interest times the time in years, or simple interest equals PRT. With this formula, we can derive the formula for the other given. A simple way of memorizing this formula is by creating a triangle. You could also remember it with a mnemonic like I is spirit to remember the values. It will look like this. The triangle shows the operation and how to find the given. To use it, you will just simply plug in what is given in the problem and solve for what is asked. For example, we are looking for the simple interest. Since P, R, and T are beside each other, we can automatically tell that the operation we are going to use is multiplication. Now let's try finding the principal amount. Since simple interest is on top of the triangle, it tells us that we must use division. So P equals interest over rate times time. Now that we know all the needed formulas and terms, let us do some practice problems. For example number 1, Lauren loans 10,000 pesos from a bank for a period of 1 year. The agreed interest rate is 10% per annum, yearly. What is the interest and the total amount she must pay at the end of the year? The problem is asking for the interest and the total amount she must pay at the end of the year. To solve this easily and reduce confusion, let us write what is given. P, or the principal amount in the initial money borrowed or deposited, so 10,000 pesos will be denoted with P. The time given is 1 year, so we know that it is a yearly simple interest. Let us denote 1 year with T. The agreed interest rate is 10%, so we'll denote that with R. Now that we know our given, we can now solve for the simple interest and total amount. First, we must solve for the interest before the total amount. Following the formula that we discussed earlier, let us equate it with our given. Simple interest equals 10,000 times 10 times 1 all over 100. After simplifying the solution, we end up with the answer for the simple interest, which is 1,000. This is the amount that Lauren needs to pay. This is denoted as SI. Now, we can finally solve for the amount. The total amount equals the principal amount plus the interest, so just simply equate it with the given. 10,000 plus 1,000 equals to 11,000. This is the total amount to be paid by Lauren at the end of the year, which is to be denoted by A. For example number 2, to pay for her grandmother's hospital bills, Diane borrowed 70,000 pesos, which she should pay for 4 years at the rate of 4.5% per annum. The question is, what is the interest to Diane's loan? Analyzing the problem, we can assume that we are asked of the interest. With that said, let us list down our givens. First, we have our principal, which is 70,000, time, which is 4 years, and our rate, which is 4.5%. To find the missing interest, let us use the formula of simple interest, which is principal times rate times time all over 100. And if we substitute the formula with a given, it will be 70,000 times 4.5 times 4 all over 100. So the amount of Diane's interest accumulated by the end of 4 years is 12,600 pesos. Let us look at another scenario. Example number 3. Rita is paying 102 pesos as interest to her 6 months loan. If the interest rate is 0.3%, how much did Rita borrow and how much in total is due? According to the statement, we are to look for 2 answers, one of which from how much did Rita borrow pertaining to the principal, and the other from the statement how much in total is due pertaining to the total amount. Now let's list down the given. First, we have our simple interest, which is 102 pesos. We have our time, which is 6 months, and our rate, which is 0.3%, or if converted to decimal, it is 0.003. Next, follow the formula for the principal first. The formula for principal is simple interest over rate times time. So next, we just have to simply substitute and solve. After solving, we will be able to get into the answer 68,000 pesos, which is Rita's 6th principal loan. And we will also get the answer of 6,102 pesos, which is Rita's total amount due. Let us practice more with another example. Khalid pays a total of 9,000 pesos for the last portion of his student loan, amounting 7,000 for 2 years. What is Khalid's rate of interest? In here, we are asked to solve for Khalid's rate of interest, to be solved by rate equals the simple interest over principal times time. And the given are, total amount is 9,000, principal 7,000, and our time 2 years. With the given laid on us, we are still unable to solve the problem. However, if we are to look for the simple interest first, then we could satisfy the formula to get the simple interest. Just simply substitute and solve. But take note that this formula for simple interest may only be utilized if the total amount and principal is given. For this formula, we are going to use the formula for total amount, which is total amount equals principal plus simple interest. But since we are looking for the simple interest and not for the total amount, all we have to do is just move the symbols. So it will turn to 9,000 minus 7,000, and that is our simple interest, which is 2,000, and that is Khaled's interest or simple interest. Now that we can satisfy the formula for rate, let us substitute and solve. Always remember that the formula of rate is simple interest all over principal times time, and it will be 2,000 over 7,000 times 2, which is 2,000 over 14,000. And when we solve that, that will be 0.1,428,571,429 10 billions times 100. And note, change the decimal into percentage. So our rate will be 14.29%, and that is Khaled's rate of interest. For our last example, Ray is hoping to buy a house of his own. He loaned $2 million from a bank. His rate of interest is 3.5%, and he is to pay it for 30 years. What is the total amount Ray is paying, and what is his interest? We are looking for the total amount Ray must pay and his interest. To solve this, let us use the formula simple interest equals P times R times T. And the total amount, which is A, equals P plus simple interest. First, let us substitute for the simple interest formula. Simple interest equals 2,987,550.98 pesos times 0.035,000 times 30, and that is 3,136,928.529,000. And that is the interest amount of Ray's loan. For the total amount, it is 2,987,550.9800 plus 3,135,928.5300, and that equals to 6,124,479.5100. That equals to 6,124,479.5100. And that is the total amount to be paid at the end of the 30 years. And that would be all. I hope you learned something from this short video.